Remember the era between like 2006 and 2012 when everyone's parents had a chintzy laptop and you'd beg them for just a little time on it? Please, just 15 minutes, 4 hours, maybe? Flash games were our bread and butter back when Disney Channel told you to get your parents' permission before going online. Everyone loved cool math games in Y8 and Funbrain and Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network online. Except for us kids who didn't have cable. We got our Flash game fill from pbskids.org. You know, for a website full of educational games, they were stupidly good at making some of them into, well, actual games that I still remember fondly. A lot of them even still hold up. So, while I kick my Wayback Machine and Google powers into gear, let's hear a message from our sponsors over at Solid Plutonium and Americium Metal Labs.
That be gone.
Being future merch since 2019. Okay, got it. My absolute favorite game from that site. 3-Puck Chuck. Simply get this red and blue thingy right here into this Z thingy right there, and you've won the level. Except you have to use one of these pucks with different sizes and speeds and push power. Almost reminds me of another game out there.
Now watch this drive.
Seriously? That's literally it? Boring! Nah, don't worry, there's more to it. As the game goes on, they'll add surfaces that are slightly slipperier, slightly very stickier, very annoying, and some of them will just yeet your pucks into oblivion. This one was a hard life lesson. For some reason, this one gave me nightmares when I was a kid. But hey, I did learn how things bounce through this wise game design, and who am I kidding? I absorbed it by trying to beat my parents in 2-player mode. Why were they so good? But there were other quality games out there.
Oh, I like that name.
There were bare good games under this show's umbrella, don't get me started, and they were all really different in their styles and their objectives. First, I'll start off with, surprisingly, another physics game. I'm beginning to see a trend here and I'm not quite sure what it means. Look, it was just fun, I swear. One of those where you adjust ramps in order to make a ball hit a goal. And honestly, the levels aren't that hard assuming you're at least like 15 months old. So you can do what every self-respecting, no longer a total kid does, and speedrun the levels, which is naturally stupidly easy. I mean, they are designed for little kids. Fortunately, there's a level editor, so you can step up the difficulty just a smidge, even though I'm pretty sure you can't really save levels anymore, thanks to them shutting down those servers. I tried to find some of the ones that I made on my old account, and they unfortunately weren't there. Ah well. But there are just so many games here that I used to love, and it's a shame to see them get buried like this. What Are We Doing is a nice little get the temperature right management-ish joint, but in order to make it harder, there are cats that'll megalovania your score. I'll admit that when I found out that the conveyor belt stops to help you time things right, I was pretty disappointed. I know it makes it easier for the kids, but I was like 7 when I found that out. And besides, they clearly didn't care about stuff being easy because of games like Move It or Luge It. That game is crazy. In theory,
All we had to do was
luge the sled? Yeah, I don't feel like doing the cursory research on luge, but just like following the darn train, it's not that simple. You got times to beat, and you can't move on until you hit a particular time target. Hitting those targets is work. Even on the first level, you find yourself trying and trying and trying again, only to come in literal hundredths of a second off. Because of how hard it is to consistently sweep the levels, it's probably the game with the most replay value even in this day and age. One more super worthwhile game on there is Disco Fiasco. Sure, it's just a puzzle game on reflecting light. Whoa. I didn't expect it to get this. Oh, okay. I guess it wasn't that complicated. The gameplay is, to absolutely no one's surprise, very kid-friendly. But if you're an aspiring producer, you'll want to play this. After every level, you get to make Rough Ruffman here do some dancing, and some of the moves come with sound effects. Please use them. I promise you they'll make great samples. Observe.
kaboom, kaboom, kab, 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 kaboom. All right.
Side note, most of the shows with the good Flash games aren't really classics. Like Arthur and Clifford and Curious George's games didn't really slap if they actually had games. Although they're like PBS mascots. But if you find a show like Design Squad or Dragonfly TV, the best games on their pages were iconic. Design It, Build It, Fidget, where you transport all these little guys, or a couple big guys, to their final destinations. No, not those destinations, guys. Chill. It was fun, but the game itself was poorly designed because unlocking new parts wrote over other, more fun parts for absolutely no discernible reason. And Dragonfly TV? Well, thanks to the wonders of deleted pages, I can't access it. But wait, let's do the highlights. Sailing is, well, a game about managing the wind. You have to steer the boat and move the sail, and do all of this while navigating an obstacle course with a timer. And if you mess up on the sail, that's it, you're done. In 16 years of PBS Kids, I have never ever gotten past the first level of this game, but I'm also bad at it, so make of that what you will. In Planetary Rescue Squad, your job is to yeet circles. That's it. Oh, but gravity changes. And the terrain sometimes. When it feels like it. Just try not to yeet too many circles, okay? I'm sure NASA won't like what you're doing with their budget. Mechanical Madness is one of those games that like slapped really hard when you were a kid, but you go back and try it out and it's like, did I really enjoy this? So all you do is you take the green parts and finish the puzzle. There's honestly not that much to it except maybe the animations of the ball inside each part and the hard level. That one took about a minute to figure out, but don't tell anyone, okay? The best game on PBS though, by a long shot, Cyberchase, The Quest. And what makes it so good, you ask? Ooh, this here's A1 kids content, is what I used to say at least. Let's see if it holds up. Cyberchase The Quest is legitimately a great piece of Flash game design, and you cannot convince me otherwise. And the best part, there are 3 of them with completely different goals and minigame styles, and 2 of them are set in the same world, basically. The Quest games are kind of like Flash RPGs, albeit simple ones, cause, you know, public broadcasting money. And because it's Cyberchase, encounters give you math minigames. The first quest, Mission Motherboard, honestly, it's not great. It's basically a tutorial level. You just familiarize yourself with the locations, and learn how to buy things, and collect snowfoos, and avoid Ratopolis. Trust me on that one, it's no fun there while you help out Motherboard. That's about all there is to it. Go around, do educational games for money, go through the maze, buy the stuff you need, and then just run through the levels and get everything, give it to Motherboard. That's it. The end. Bravo. The next one, Race for Ratopolis, adds a bit of fun factor. In this one, we have to beat Hacker in sports in order to give the king back his title. Yeah, that doesn't really make that much sense to me either, but what are you gonna do? Only problem is that there's a skateboard race. All in all, I'd say it's a much more fun and, well, game-y game than the first quest, despite you needing to walk around and collect things. Definitely the most fun of the Cyberchase bunch. I remember I used to spend afternoon after afternoon, weekend after weekend on these Flash games, and it's nice to go back and revisit some of these memories and see how things have held up over the years. And I'm worried that the internet makes this both more and less possible. Almost anything deemed of note gets stored somewhere accessible, whether on the Wayback Machine or someone's random torrent link or an obscure site that still uses HTTP certificates for some reason. But as Flash support ends and websites are taken offline or corporations go to bat with their copyright lawyers, a huge part of the internet is being effectively lost to the sands of time. Well, if the Internet Archive doesn't get to it. And even then, you have to use Internet Explorer. And on that terrible disappointment, it's time for me to end. Good times. Actually, before you go, don't forget to subscribe, comment, follow me on Twitter at JGNQ5 and all that. I'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.